help women, save lives, and peacefully end abortion where you live.
I can tell you exactly what would happen. The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired.
You were serious about that?
Be inspired to change hearts and minds by joining over 1 million volunteers taking part in the global movement happening in your neighborhood.
She says, pray that I can get through this abortion. And I said, oh, no. So she went ahead and went into the abortion clinic. When she just came out, she told us, I'm not going to get the abortion. We just had a baby saved. So we had a baby saved in Memphis today. Praise the Lord.
This is the 40 Days for Life podcast with your host, Sean Carney.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today on the 40 Days for Life podcast. I'm Sean Carney, the president of 40 Days for Life, and your host for this podcast, which is dedicated to helping you end abortion where you live. Summer is coming, and a wonderful pro-life thing to do is to take your family on some kind of vacation. Doesn't have to be extravagant, but we are going to give you top family vacation destinations, okay? That's what we're going to do. We're also going to share some stories about our chaotic vacation experiences at times, and I'm definitely setting myself up for one this summer as we decided to change our vacation plans, and we think it's a good idea. It probably is not. And so I will share that, and we are going to have a lot of fun on this summer vacation version of the 40 Days for Life podcast. And somebody who refuses to take a vacation and just simply works every day is Mr. Steve Carlin.
Every day I'm hustling.
Well, with a beard like that, You're definitely a hustler. I'm telling you. You have elevated. I think this is now the second podcast we've revealed with your beard and our new beautiful studio. And we got some disagreements about the list. We'll let the viewers decide. I have some controversial views on your controversial views, and we'll debate it in the public square. Heather is also here.
Welcome back from your suspension.
What happened? You got sick.
I was boycotting until
you were boycotting
until the new studio came.
You didn't even know they
Thanks for listening.
You didn't even know they were redoing the studio.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Okay.
Y'all told me a few weeks ago.
Okay.
I didn't. I was left out.
He walked in today or yesterday. It was like,
this looks cool.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. It's fantastic. So good job, producer John.
Yes.
Thank you for
Very
your services, and try not to talk so much on the podcast. Thank you for laughing. Okay.
We got a request from a listener to have John as a guest on the podcast.
I would love that. He would refuse. You won't come on camera, right? No. People don't want to see him. I mean, we got kids watching.
We'll just keep him mic'd in the back and just keep it as usual.
He's going to get mic'd in the back. I would love to have him on. John the Baptist on the podcast?
Yeah.
Be great.
It would be great.
Be great.
The final one.
The final, when we decide to pull the plug on the whole operation. That's when we really have some serious banter. All right, what do we got? Listener feedback?
We have a little bit of listener feedback. We're still in the Easter season, and you might remember on our Holy Week podcast, we discuss what is in a Cadbury egg.
Oh.
They're selling in the gas station all of Lent. Dave in Marietta, Georgia, does not have an answer to that question, but he did say, since you were talking about Cadbury eggs in the podcast, I thought you would appreciate this. When I have an egg sandwich, this is what I'm talking about. We can put it on the screen. I can show you guys. He makes a sandwich with Cadbury caramel eggs.
Oh.
That is awesome.
I would at least toast it.
Show that up at the camera.
Yeah.
We can have Jill put it on the...
Yeah, I don't know if you can. Can we do that? Do that camera.
There we go.
This is a disaster. Yeah. So that's slices of bread. That's a fantastic. He printed. Yeah.
And you know this is a good sandwich when it looks to be Wonder Bread.
I know. Oh yeah. No, it's not even like the whole wheat.
There's no 7 grains in here. There's only 1 grain. Keeping it pure.
This is what makes America wonderful. Is the fact that we can celebrate the resurrection of Jesus with the egg sandwich, Wonder Bread sandwich.
Also, here in this lighthearted Easter season, I accepted my homework assignment that you gave me during Lent, which was to listen to a minimum of 3 hours of This Is Luke Bryan on Spotify.
Yes.
Because if you were a new listener or maybe missed that episode or like 20 other episodes in which we discuss this, Sean likes Luke Bryan a lot.
I had a Luke Bryan conversion.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
And I think he's a good guy, and I saw the documentary on him when I had my foot surgery, so I'm all in. You can't.
I
him otherwise.
have not liked Luke Bryan, but I went the extra mile as our Lord tells us to do, and I listened to not 3 but 4 hours straight of Luke Bryan. I took a break for lunch.
What, is this
And-
a business day? When was this?
Well, it was a business
Were you
assignment.
driving? You just had him on in the the background in your office.
While I was working, yeah.
I'd be interested in some of the content you created that day.
Yeah. I took my lunch. I had my
You
Cadbury
can
egg
hang
sandwich.
your T-shirt on the limb.
Oh my gosh.
So I have to say, I've had a change of heart.
Oh, no way!
Luke Bryan is even worse than I thought.
No, it's people like you that are ruining our culture and the cynicism that we see.
To your credit, during this past campaign that we completed,
You don't like country on. You don't like country on.
I will say of everything I listened to, I was like, yeah, Sean, I will give you credit on that. That was a fine song. It's not my favorite, but I liked it.
Something's very wrong with you. This is not how normal people act. Normal people like Luke Bryan. You hate our country.
You've got an
hate
ally
our country.
because I went and I spoke at the 40 Days for Life Vigil in Aurora, Illinois, and afterwards
Which is Yankees. They're not even Southerners.
I went to lunch with the entire team, and there was a very kind college student, 20 years old. His name was Sully, and Sully's like, "I love you guys' podcast, but you're wrong about Luke Bryan. He's a talented artist."
Oh, okay.
Plus, who doesn't listen to people named Sully? That's the
Right.
coolest name on earth.
Well-
so thank you, Sully.
I've got a case here. I compiled during the course. You want to know what I got done during these 4 hours?
Yeah, I think just as the CEO of the organization, I'm very interested.
It's a matter of stewardship and fiduciary responsibility.
Yeah, fiduciary responsibility to the donors.
I put together my top 5 or maybe bottom 5 Luke Bryan lyrics.
Okay,
Let's do it. Let's
So,
hear it.
I'm in.
Number 5, Play It Again.
Oh, that's a good song.
She was sitting all alone over on the tailgate, tan legs swinging by a Georgia plate. I was looking for a boyfriend, thinking no way she ain't got one. Soon as I sat down, I was falling in love, trying to pour a little sugar in her Dixie cup. What does that mean?
You know, that's euphemism right
He
there.
likes her.
You're saying that's an innuendo?
Oh, it's definitely an
You're
innuendo.
no,
Are you kidding?
You're supposed to. No, you. Yeah.
Do we need the listener discretion warning on this show for Luke Bryan?
Pour a little sugar in your Dixie.
You'll know this one.
It was
Creative
rhyming
writing.
for a while, and then it fell off.
Yep. Love
Well,
and cup.
Maybe Sully's wrong.
What
Maybe-
about, I mentioned on the podcast the Drink a Beer song. Like, because his dad dies and he's sitting on the pier.
Yeah.
Drink a beer. Like, keep going with your hatred.
I think you'll know this one. This is a more famous one. Rain makes corn.
Corn
makes
whiskey.
Whiskey makes my baby get
a little frisky.
My buddies pile up in my truck. We hunt our honeys down. Sounds like it's not respectful of women. We
really
take them into
doesn't.
town, start washing all our worries down
That's
the
right.
drain.
Portion. That's important. Yep.
He's been married to his high school, or his like, I think it's like freshman year of college they met, and they've been married the whole time. Now I have to like defend.
So I need that's the interpretive key, the Rosetta Stone, if you will. Benedict talked about the hermeneutic of continuity, and we need to read this in light of tradition.
in light of tradition.
Number 3, Knockin' Boots. Strangely, Laura really likes this song. I cannot figure it out for the life of me. She's like, it's fun.
Because she's an American woman.
Yeah.
That's why she likes it.
Birds need bees and ice needs whiskey. Boys like me need girls like you to kiss me. Fishing in the dark needs nitty gritty.
Nitty-gritty.
I mean, that's forced.
Heather knows all these songs. Have you noticed this? Like, she's not reading off your paper. She's reciting them.
Boots need knockin' boots, me and you, oh.
I don't really like the Knockin' Boots one. Just I don't think it has a good beat. But yeah, I guess that's his version of "Whose Bed Have Your Boots Been Under" by Shania Twain, which is a great song.
It is a great song.
What do we do if there's a curse in a song? Can Jill just bleep those out?
I think you can just
Just hit say bleep
yeah.
myself. It's funnier when you hear
Bleep.
the actual beep, though. I like that a lot.
Do the
No,
say
I think it
say
causes-
bleep.
I know, that's why it's funny.
Say bleep,
All right,
and
bleep.
she'll bleep over your bleep.
There
Oh,
we
yeah.
go. Good idea.
Take my drunk bleep home. I worked all week so I could come here, have a good time, and an ice cold beer, but 1 turned into 10, and 10 turned to 20. And 20 plus an empty bottle's too bleep many. It's time to take my drunk bleep home.
So, what I got from that, he drank 20 beers on Friday night. Is that what that
Sounds
boils
like
down?
Well, not quite, because then he also drank all the whiskey. And his money's all gone. Hit on all the girls, sang every song. It's time to take my drunk bleep home.
He's just a good old country boy. I like Luke Bryan.
Here's my number 1.
No kidding.
We're nearing the end of the list here. We're doing good on time. We should actually extend this.
No, don't say that.
Number 1. Oh, by the way, these are the bottom 5 that don't include Country Girl Shake It For Me. That
Okay, because that was its own category.
That's a
That's
good-
really how he came onto the scene, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's got some great songs that you didn't listen to.
I did. You said 3
He
hours.
listened to 4 hours.
But what
That's
I'm
at
saying
least
is
20
he
songs.
heard good songs and he just ignored them.
He's saying his top least favorite. Top
Cowboys
worst.
and Plowboys. We've talked about that with John Party. That's a great
That's
song.
a good one, which is why it's not on that list, right?
He's got some
Yeah.
tear jerkers, man. This
This is a tearjerker. This is very
the
sentimental.
bottom. I hate these.
This is like my
worst.
lady, my truck, and my beer.
This is very sentimental right here. Number 1, that's my kind of night.
That's a good one.
You look like the kind that likes to take it way out where the corn rows grow, row my boat, floating down the Flint River. Catch us up a little
Catfish dinner. Mary Lisa loves this song.
Gonna sound like a winner when I lay you down and love you right. Yeah, that's my kind of night.
That's my kind of night.
That's some great. Wow.
Gonna get a catfish
Great
dinner.
songwriting.
Sounds like a winner. That's a fun song. It's because the boys, you don't look like you go for the boys that will take you downtown, but the boys that will take you way out, like you're a country girl. Mm-hmm. No, the lay you down part, I think that was some sort of, they were prostrating themselves in prayer.
I'm sure. Yeah, that had to
In
be.
adoration.
They were, that was
We've offered our opinions and they differ. We do have a tiebreaker, and we have not heard your opinion.
Yeah, what do you think of Luke Bryan?
I lean closer to Steve than I do you.
Wow. And you are a great musician yourself.
Maybe
His
that's
voice is very pinched to me.
Yeah, I
It's
think his
not-
voice is overrated. I actually respect Luke Bryan because I think he worked his way through creativity to his success. I don't think he just had natural singing talent. I think he was like, I'm going to be an entertainer. And he said, I used to get up and I wear a cowboy hat and I sing George Strait and Merle. And then I would like go to the back of the club and sit at the bar and some rapper would get up there and the whole place would go nuts. And it was the same crowd. And he's like, I'm going to do that in country. So it was like a niche. And I hated him at first.
I used to hate him, and he, in some very small ways, has redeemed himself with some such as drink a beer and some of his.
And his personal story is actually really touching. And he is like a real Christian. And everybody died.
Yeah.
Everybody died through his run. And he kept putting off Nashville. And he lost his sister. And it was just he and his brother-in-law. He won Entertainer of the Year. And like he and his brother-in-law are hugging. Then his brother-in-law dies. Like it's really an amazing life of suffering. But yeah, here's the thing. And maybe this is the problem with the beard, is that I found my hatred of Luke Bryan was wasted energy. And then I would just like, one of his songs would come on the radio and I'd find myself singing it. And somebody would be like, Dad, that's Luke Bryan.
Was it Take My Drunk Bleep Home?
No, I actually had never heard that one. But part of it was the songs are just fun. It's just fun and upbeat and, what's wrong with that? So we disagree on that, and we disagree on a few of these vacation destinations. Can we switch 1 and 2?
Yeah, we
for the
can do
sake
whatever
of
we
the
want.
audience? I know these aren't ranked, but because I disagree with the first one on the list,
You don't want to go negative.
I don't want to go negative first. After your negative spilling on Luke
understand.
Bryan,
I understand.
You know what's he's gonna like sponsor the symposium or something for the leaders, and we're gonna have to. You'll be like, thank you, Mr. Bryan. I've always been a huge fan.
Do the post entertainment.
Exactly.
We'll do a podcast with him.
He shows
I'm not
up.
invited to be on it.
He shows up at the symposium. I just love y'all's work, and you're like, we love you. Steve's like kissing his ring.
And then he'll be like, really? Because I heard y'all didn't. I
Steve
did some
didn't like
research.
Luke on the
Steve didn't
podcast.
like me.
Yeah, I can't impersonate him. Yeah.
As we go through our list here, we got a top 10, and your mileage may vary as Sean's does. I'm looking forward to hearing about that. These are, I try to pick places that were all over the country.
Yeah.
If you got a family, like you're in Boston, like maybe it's not really feasible to go check out Seattle or something like that. And also, there's a lot of great places in our country that I didn't include, like New York City and San Francisco would be great places to visit, but not always I don't know, family vacation to Manhattan's a little tough sailing, I think.
Some of these are very cheap.
Yeah.
And I would say very few of these are like expensive.
That was our goal, to try to keep it truly family accessible.
A great list, and we are giving some substantive advice, like places to go and why should I go there. You know what this does? What this list reminds me of is I've now just been everywhere. I mean, since I was like 23, I've just traveled everywhere a million times.
You've been everywhere, man?
I've been everywhere, man, and it makes me realize like where I would want to go, like with the kids or with Mary Lisa. And that's what helps is we've been to all of these cities a million times. We've all vacationed at certain ones, but I think this is really, really helpful. Okay. The first one that we're moving to the first one. This is just gold. Nashville, Tennessee, baby. Speaking of country music. Of course, apparently Steve won't go to the Luke Bryan bar.
Accurate.
So we got the Andrew Jackson Hermitage. We've got Grand Ole Opry, which I did take my older kids to. We saw Reba.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Fantastic in concert.
Wow.
We were there for the symposium. After the symposium ended, we took my whole family and then Heather and your mom, your aunt, mom and your aunt.
Mm-hmm. Both of them, yeah. Three, we all went, that was my first time. That was my first time in Nashville to actually be in Nashville and see Nashville. All the other 2 or 3 times I've been was always a quick go to the airport, go to the hotel for the event, leave, go back to the airport.
You see the conference center near the airport?
Yeah.
You can also do
Exactly.
the Andrew Jackson riverboat dinner and concert, or just dinner, or just the cruise, but it goes down the river. That's really cool. Kid-friendly stuff. I mean, Nashville can be very adult, but really that's like I would say 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock and after, which I've never even been down there at that time. I did once, like in college, but we took our kids. This was during COVID. It was like, y'all did really good at school, so we're just going to randomly take you on a trip to Nashville. And Nashville was open during COVID. And it was so fun. We took the kids to Lower Broadway during the day.
Yeah, totally family friendly.
Absolutely family friendly. There's cops everywhere. It's safe. Not one pride flag. We were there in June. It's just a little thing in case people are wondering about that. Good food. Cool bars, all the country bars, totally kid friendly. And not to be cliche, but all the musicians were unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And if any of your kids are remotely interested in music, they'll just love it because it's just live music in a small venue. It's not like going to a football stadium and seeing a concert. I mean, you're like right there. So that was super cool.
These are the places, I think that the 2 most authentic, there was like Robert's Western and the stage maybe. And these are places where like you'll see photos and they're like, yeah, this is where Toby Keith got started.
Yeah.
He just showed up and played for beer money and somebody discovered him.
And Alan Jackson will still go to his bar
Okay.
once a week and randomly and just play.
Wow.
So it is pretty cool. The Broadway scene is definitely cool. If
we need to go to number 3 before we get next.
no, and then they have a state history museum, which is cool in Nashville.
We've got a replica of the Parthenon.
The Parthenon, yeah.
Pretty neat.
Oh, and before we move on, I know what I was going to say. Awesome hand over heart place to go is the Johnny Cash Museum.
Okay, I've
It's
not been there.
super cheap. I underestimated how awesome that would be and how much we liked it. It's probably about 2 hours. it ends with his poem on the flag. It's just awesome. And I didn't realize he's the only person to be in both the country and rock and roll Hall of Fame. But phenomenal career. It's very godly, I guess. That's just because he got involved with gospel, and that was just a theme throughout his life. And then he got in all the stuff. But I don't know. He had this great interview at the end, and they show this clip, and he says, "I never lost my faith. I always believed in God. I always wanted to follow Jesus. I just was really, really bad at it a lot of the time." It was a real honest thing. So anyways, Johnny Cash Museum, Nashville, great town.
Country Music Hall of Fame too.
Yeah.
I did get to go that, and we didn't have enough time to go through all of it, but it was really, really cool. There's lots of huge things all the way to just teeny tiny little facts, trivia, and artists you may have forgotten about, and it's pretty cool.
And if you want, you can go and get tickets to the Huckabee show, which I've known people that have been on his show. And if you're Catholic, it's definitely worth going to the Mother House of the Nashville Dominicans, which was a boarding school they built during the Civil War. And the sisters are still there, and you can go in and go to Mass or go to evening prayer and pray with 300 sisters. But that's just a cool historical thing because it's in the middle of nowhere. It was. Now there's like a Lexus dealership across the street. But beautiful church. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, let's go to 3 to put off.
Delaying the inevitable, are we?
Okay, what? Oh.
We didn't do that. You swapped 1 and 2, remember?
I know, but we're
going to wait.
We're gonna wait.
He's not ready.
I'm going to wait.
Okay.
Okay. The state of Washington. I like this, and I've been all over East and West. Beautiful. Coffee, seafood, the Space Needle.
Seattle's a crazy place, but the Space Needle was surprisingly cool to me to go up into it. We had a workshop for leaders there, and I brought one of my sons along. We checked that out. Seafood is amazing. There's the Pike Place Market, which is, you watch like a Seattle Seahawks game, and when they go to commercial, they show the guys like throwing the big fish around, and it's very cool, very iconic.
What's the movie where they do that? It's now slipping me. Is it Sleepless in Seattle? They go down there where they're throwing the fish. Okay, I can't remember.
I haven't seen that movie in so long, I don't remember.
I know. There's a famous where they're throwing the fish. Yes, it's also just built on the side of a mountain. The first time I went to Seattle, I was actually 20 years old, and I was just blown away at how pretty it was. It was a lot cleaner back then. But I've heard it's still clean. I've heard they've gotten over their sort of 2020 mayhem and that they kind of cleaned it up. But it is a beautiful city. It's absolutely beautiful. And there's tons of stuff to do. They have the longest, I don't know what you call it. What's a bridge that goes over like a river that's just rope? What do you call that? A suspension bridge?
The ladder or
No, it's like you walk on it. It's a specific. Is it suspension bridge?
No, that's like the Golden Gate Bridge is a suspension.
No, yeah, it's not that. But like I don't know what you call it, but where it's just roped on one side and roped on the other, and you walk over. They have the highest one in the world, right outside of Seattle, and I went across it.
That gives me the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it.
I think it's because I was 20 and stupid and not married and just like, hey, I'll do this. It's fun. And like looking back, there's no way I could do it. I got the T-shirt.
I'm going to look it up.
Most people, it's like half the people don't make it halfway. It's pretty terrifying.
So this is not part of the family vacation.
No, you got teenagers and they're like, let's do it,
Oh my God.
You're not going to fall off unless you fall off. But yeah, go ahead.
No, you first.
Mount Rainier.
Yeah, that's where I was going. I think mountains are cool. And you can go to the Rocky Mountains, and the Rocky Mountains are awesome. But what's cool about Mount Rainier is it's a volcano, so it just like is a little more prominent on the horizon than your typical mountain range mountains. And so my son and I went there, and we hiked, and it was late June, and so we got like the things you strap on your shoes with the spikes and stuff. We were hiking around Mount Rainier in late June in the snow, and it was 75 degrees. So it was just awesome.
That's cool, and that means something coming from you because you hate snow and are tired of it.
If there was 75-degree days with snow in Wisconsin, I might be a little more amenable.
Yeah, that's true.
But Mount Rainier is awesome.
Yeah, Washington State is definitely. don't let the a bunch of liberals, I hate Bill Gates or whatever. Seattle. Don't let all that. You got to go. It's beautiful.
If you dropped somebody into Washington State and didn't tell them where they were, you would be able to recognize it immediately.
Absolutely. It's stunning. And I think it's so different from where I grew up and where I live. The Pacific Northwest is just absolutely beautiful. Good shout out. Great 40 Days for Life campaigns in Washington State. I say that a lot because they have it rough, but that for a long time, they have there was a point where I was going there like twice a year in the early days.
We just had Matt Britton from the Institute of Law and Justice visit like 9 or 10 campaigns in Washington State, and I have always, like you, thought very highly of those locations, and still it's Washington State. How many people are going to come out? He had big crowds for all of these events. They were doing a great job. They're saving babies. Seattle closed an abortion facility a couple of years ago. So one of those great, encouraging, if it can happen here, it can happen anywhere scenarios.
Yeah, and if you can, it's beautiful to drive out there. But a great airport, SeaTac. Sounds cool, is cool. Great coffee. Yeah, SeaTac is a great airport.
Clams.
Okay, let's
Mix it up.
close to home and let's do Houston, Texas. So I lived there and I didn't know people went to
Vacation
Houston
there.
for vacation. I'm like, what do you do?
You thought you didn't like my list.
I know, and but the people that come to Houston, there's a lot of stuff to do. The leaders love it. We've had a lot of symposiums in Houston. We're having another one this summer in Houston that always gets, one of the more favorable locations is Houston. Okay, so you've got NASA, which is just cool for all ages.
Automatic school field trips on that all the time. That was fun.
Got to do it. You've got to go to NASA. The Houston Aquarium is really, really cool.
Yes, that is neat. Very expensive with the food, but
yes, and that's Tillman Fertitta. He owns all the Landrys. He owns Morton's. He owns Saltgrass. He owns the aquarium. He owns the Houston Rockets. But he owns more restaurants than anybody else in the world.
So using the aquarium to stock the seafood restaurant?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because, and that's the only aquarium, I think. And then he created Rainforest Cafe. The first one of those is in Houston. He's from Galveston. Great. Okay. You have food on here. We've got Papacitos. We've got Papados. We've got Killen's Barbecue in Pearland, but now there's a couple of locations around Killen's, Killens. If you are a serious barbecue pilgrim or you want, if you want to be dedicated and write in, go to Corkscrew Barbecue in Spring, Texas. One of my original favorites. I took you there. I used to go when it was a trailer, and God bless them, last year, they got the #1 barbecue place in America.
really,
Yeah, our little Corkscrew.
wow,
Awesome.
You got to go early.
You got to go early. But man, those pork ribs, the beef ribs, bad name actually, Corkscrew Barbecue, Tejas Barbecue in Tomball, Taca de Redondas, Los Cucos.
Tomball, a place that could only be in Texas.
Tomball. Great football team. So anyways, there's a little, you want a steakhouse, tons of steakhouses. So anyways, that's all the Houston food. Also, you can come here. You can come to College Station and go to the Presidential Library for George H.W. Bush.
Come tour the HQ. See the Memorial to the Unborn.
You can tour the 40 Days for Life. Also,
This very studio where we discuss Luke Bryan. You could be here.
you can touch Steve's table.
My pen.
Yeah.
Please don't touch my pen. It's personal.
Oh my word. One thing you don't have on here that is really cool is the Houston Zoo is definitely worth going
have
to.
not been there.
It is a legit zoo. It's in the medical district.
used to be free. Now it's not.
I know. It's kind of neat because it's next to the Texas Children's Cancer Hospital. And so they actually have a specific walkway where the kids who are suffering with cancer can walk right over and go and see the animals. It's
Yeah.
kinda neat.
And the Houston Zoo has this cool event during the holidays, during the Christmas holidays and Advent, where they have a big light show. So you can actually walk through the zoo at night and see all these lights, and you can't really see very many animals, but you can kind of see some of them. I mean, some of them are asleep, but
We did that.
that's fun.
We were sneaking around trying to get a look, and we saw the giraffes and we saw the elephants. And
Yeah.
Mary Lisa was like, "You need to grow up." I'm an adult. I was like, "I want to see some animals." She said, "No, that's not the point of the light show."
Why they have it at the zoo then?
Yeah,
They can make more money.
that's right. Okay, so yeah, Houston also very cheap. Tons of hotels. You can go down to Galveston, which we're proud of our muddy beaches, but Galveston is a great beach town. It's super cheap.
And there's even just Galveston alone, there's lots of fun stuff. It's been more popularized now. There's actually an HGTV show restoring Galveston.
Yeah, well, what happened is the cruises started going out of Galveston.
Yeah, cruises,
and
yep.
so it really developed. They poured a lot of money into it.
And the beaches are cleaner. I mean,
They're very
you're not going to come from like East Coast or West Coast and be excited about Galveston Beach in terms of the comparison to what you're used to, but they're a lot cleaner than they used to be.
But with Galveston Bay and Galveston in general, it is fantastic fishing if people wanted to do that. And there's a million charters available, or you can go to the pier. But there's great fishing in Galveston.
We went to this little place called the Kemah Boardwalk.
Yeah, the
It's kind of
Kemah
a-
Boardwalk is
awesome.
It's an old school kind of amusement park, but not overly commercialized.
Yep,
Right.
it's awesome.
good.
He
good
owns that
option.
too. Tillman. But yeah, it's really, really fantastic. Okay. All right. One of my favorite towns, Boston.
Boston.
I would argue too, compared to East Coast cities, this is pretty cheap. Boston's like 400,000 people. It's like the biggest little town, and it's super cool. It's very easy to get around. You have Bunker Hill. You have the Green Dragon, which is where Paul Revere drank beer. And there's a little road that is like as is, where he rode down and said, "The British are coming, the British are coming." So there's the Bell in Hand Tavern, which is a very old restaurant. The Green Dragon's very old. And it's cool because you can get like a whole lobster and like corn on the cob and like iced tea for $7.
I tried to go there when I came. We had a great pro-life group in Massachusetts that asked me to come speak at an event, and it kept getting postponed due to COVID. And finally, they're like, "Pick a date, and we'll bring you and a family member out." So I brought my son Peter, and we went, and we could not go to the place that you just mentioned, the Green Dragon, because they were filming a movie there that day.
Dang,
That's how iconic it is.
Really unfortunate, but it is a cool place. Producer John has been to the Green Dragon.
I've never heard of this until today.
We went and interviewed Peter Kreeft years ago and went to but that was like, we were in the Green Dragon. It was December. The Green Dragon had their Christmas decorations up, and it started snowing outside. And of course, for Texans, we're like, life will never get better than this moment right now.
We get a little too excited about little drops of snow.
Yeah.
went there in September, and it was awesome because the Green Dragon was closed, but there's a lot of other...
Is there anything else in Boston, the Green Dragon? No.
I know.
There's a lot of just kind of iconic old school places. And so we took a walking tour of the city, which is awesome. Like, yeah, there's Samuel Adams' grave. There's this like all the guys from the history books, their graves are all just out in the city. And then we went to a Red Sox game, which was awesome. And then we went and got...
That's cool.
Yeah.
Had you been to Fenway before?
No, first time.
Wow. I've never been.
It's amazing.
And I lived up there for a summer and never made it to Fenway. It's shameful.
Here's one of the things that's great about it. Boston is a rare American city in that it has a pretty authentic culture to it. You can go to a lot of places, and like Houston's on the list. I put Houston on the list. I love it, but people here are from everywhere. If you're in Boston, like, I don't know, there's probably 500,000 Sullys that are in Boston.
Uh-huh.
And like you kind of have that, there's just a vibe to it.
And if you're not from here, forget you. I like that.
Yeah.
And some of the people have like never been out of Massachusetts.
Okay.
Like more so when I lived up there, I sold books door to door. And it was just this like I had a buddy from Texas, and he was in this program with me, and he had like his neighborhood, and he bought a Boston Red Sox hat.
Okay.
And they're like, "You're not from here. Take off the hat. You're not from here." And he's like, "Hey, I like the B. My name's Blake." No, you're not. You're not a Sox fan. And it was just like forget you. Don't buy our merch. Like,
So basically, it's welcome to Boston. Now get the hell out of Boston.
yeah.
So after the Sox game.
By the way, I love it. This is why we killed the Brits. Those people are nuts.
Yeah,
The same
yeah.
with the New Yorkers. I mean, they're just crazy.
No, you like after they yell at you and make you take the hat off, you want to say thank you to them, right? We went to the Sox game, and then we went and found a substitute for the Green Dragon. I don't remember what it was called, but it's like, hey, here's where like they toasted George Washington after his second inauguration. Like, so George Washington's there, and of course, obligatory. It's Sunday. They got the Pats game on the TV.
Pats.
George Washington was here, and so was Touchdown Tom.
It's great. The Black Rose is actually probably the most famous Irish pub in America. It's definitely the most famous Irish pub in Boston, but that's another like iconic, But the reason the Green Dragon is famous, to go back to that, is because they play in the Revolution there. That was the whole thing. I think it's in their catchphrase or something. Eat and drink where the Revolution was planned or something. But super cool place. Quincy Mackett is awesome.
Isn't that where Good Will Hunting was filmed? Right?
Yeah.
That was like
Yeah. And
bombarded with that very heavy accent. That was-
totally Boston.
Wow.
They filmed some of Good Will Hunting in Toronto, but where they go on the walk in the bench, and it's like Robin Williams' great moment about, where he kind of sets them straight.
Love. Finding your true love, right?
Yeah. Like if I could ask you about Michelangelo, you'd talk about the Renaissance and all this, but you don't know what it's like to look at the Sistine Chapel. So that is, I forget what it's called, but it's a beautiful area near Quincy Market. But great Boston movies. I mean, a lot of good Boston movies. So Good Will Hunting, The Departed. Hold on, this is going to get out of hand. We'll move on. 2.5 hours from the National Shrine of Divine Mercy. I have not been there.
I sent my wife there. She and my sister-in-law made a pilgrimage there. I, of apparently less faith, took my pilgrimage to Fenway Park, but my wife and sister-in-law went to the National Shrine of Divine Mercy, had a wonderful...
Is this baseball park, Fenway Park?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm not familiar. Okay.
It's from like 1912. It's the oldest one and
Wow.
iconic.
That is cool.
Okay.
Doesn't sound like you disagree with my list that much after all.
Yeah, well, I'll get
Halfway
one
through.
more good city, and then we'll get controversial.
Okay.
Okay, a city that I absolutely love, and I'm going in like another week or so, is Washington, D.C. I love D.C., and the older I get, the more I love it. It's a great town. It's a great walking town. It's, good weather most of the year. I just love it, and I don't think I appreciate it because I was always going for work, which I love, but it was like the March for Life or these pro-life meetings. And for some reason, like in my 20s, I don't know, and Obama was president. It's just kind of different. But it was, I don't know. I just saw it as like, you go and it's work, and I didn't appreciate the city as much. And then it's kind of like I looked up, 6 or 7 years ago. I was like, this town is awesome. And now I know it so well because I'm there all the time. It's just really, really, really great. We lived in Virginia for a while, and that's probably part of it too. It's just, I don't know, when you live there, you don't get to enjoy it as much. But the Museum of the Bible is excellent.
Incredible.
It's really, really well done. They did a good job. That's a tough project, okay, because we're not exactly unified as people of faith. They did a really good job.
Yeah.
Giving the history of the Bible and doing the Catholic Protestant thing, managing the Old Testament. It was just very well done. Very well done. Kudos to the people that donated to build that. Obviously, all the Smithsonian's, the White House, the Capitol, it's all worth doing the tour. everybody needs to do the changing of the guard in Arlington. I still think Arlington's probably my favorite. And of course, you have the National Cathedral. You have the National Basilica.
That could take a day just in that alone.
Yeah, and I think for all Christians, Catholic or not, definitely go to St. Matthew's Cathedral, where JFK's funeral was. That's mosaics. It's beautiful. It's right near the heart of the city. St. Matthew's, absolutely beautiful. I think it's prettier than the shrine. But really, really, really great things to do there. It makes you love your country more. And it doesn't matter if you love Obama, hate Obama, love Trump, hate Trump. To me, there's just some historical things. You know, I didn't know that Robert E. Lee lived in Arlington. And basically the start of it was his mansion was at the top of the hill, and now you can tour it. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, Biden reinstated him. I didn't realize that. So he's in good standing. He's back. But he, to stick it to him, they would take the dead Union soldiers and dump them on the property of Robert E. Lee.
Oof.
So then they started burying them, and that was the start of Arlington Cemetery because that was just his property.
Gosh.
Pretty bold move by the Union. I kind of like it, you know, of just like, you caused this, you know. Anyways, so great history. I'd taken up all the DC talk, but I love it.
Well, my son went for the March for Life this year and was very excited at the Smithsonian by their exhibit on Lawn Chair Larry. You familiar?
I'm not familiar.
No.
He hooked up a bunch of helium balloons to his lawn chair and flew it across California, and it got out of control, and he was up like by the aircraft.
Like Up, the movie, come to life almost, but
I guess
with a
so.
chair instead of a house.
Yeah, and he brought a BB gun to shoot out the balloons to land, but he couldn't use it because he dropped it.
Oh, gosh.
Wow.
He didn't have it strapped to his body. Jeez. Oh, my gosh.
Can we do a quick little food run for DC?
Yes.
Obviously, the crab cakes and everything are great. If you're going with DC is great for kids. You can go take kids, obviously. But Old Ebbitt Grill, you've got to do it. It's right across the street from the White House. It's iconic in that every president has just wandered over there and like cleared out half the place. Clinton just used to sit at the bar and drink, which was just kind of like, as president, the Secret Service. What's your name? Come here often. So
Picking up a cocktail waitress.
absolutely. It's like those jokes are endless. I'm like, why is that so funny later on in life? It's like,
We were at the...
you've been to Old Ebbitt Grill, haven't you?
No.
I've never been either.
Oh, it's
I didn't know
fantastic.
it was there.
Yeah, great. The crab
I walked
cakes.
by it and didn't know.
It's super cool. It's got like it's nice, but it's not like this formal place. So it's a comfortable place to go. But they do like the little green lanterns on the table, you know, and in the bar and on the tables. I don't know. It's a cool atmosphere.
We went to a place called the Hamilton where they just give you a crab on a bun. Awesome.
That was
Whole
on
crab.
my list. They have great sushi at the Hamilton, and that's like all wooden restaurant. I mean, it's old. It's a cool place. Really cool atmosphere. They usually have somebody like playing the piano, and you could go in there in shorts and a polo. You could wear a suit. Like everybody's in there.
What else besides seafood do we have in Washington, D.C.?
Oh, I got an
for the people like me who don't like seafood.
The Dubliner, one of the most famous
So-
Irish pubs, and live Irish music every night.
Yes. And fun fact, you probably knew this, the Dubliner says that their second
I think
most popular day of the year behind St. Patrick's Day is the March.
The March for Life. 'Cause I met the owner a few times, but I said, "What's your busiest day besides St. Patrick's?" And he goes, "The March for Life."
March
And
for
I
Life.
just died laughing because the march would end at the Supreme Court, and the Dubliner is like next to it.
There's a bunch
And
of
they make
clergy in there, all these like barely 21-year-olds.
It's hysterical. It's like it's like a bunch of college students from like Notre Dame, and then like priests and bishops, and it cracks me up.
everybody who's anybody.
Yeah, I used to go to the Dubliner a lot for the March for Life. I haven't been in like a decade, but for the March for Life, I've been. since. I took Mary Lisa when she was up there with me. But yeah, the Dubliner is a great place. And of course, that's super casual.
Yeah.
But live Irish music, I think the Dubliner was ranked the 3rd best Irish pub in America.
Nice.
Yeah. And the Black Rose was ranked number 1. I don't know where this list is, but I read it somewhere.
I was like, well, who's ranking this?
Well,
Sully.
Sully.
then
Okay.
you've got like O'Connell's and New York. New York's the Pig and Whistle and all that stuff. But any other DC food? Did we cover that?
We made a mistake on this front. So Gilbert, our IT guy, awesome, very soft-spoken, but fun to travel with when we've got work purposes. And he'll do his homework and find, like, what's some iconic thing to get. And he found something called a half smoke, which he insisted was the thing to get. It's like a glorified chili dog.
This is at a restaurant in DC?
Yeah. So where do you get this? And he found the name of the place. And so we're like, get done with work. It's like 10:30 at night, and we catch an Uber to whatever this place is on U Street. We arrive, and we quickly recognize we should not be at U Street at 11 o'clock in Washington, D.C. We're in this place. We have it. It's fine, but there's like people smoking pot in the restaurant. We leave. This explosion happened. Ramona thinks we're going to die.
You took Ramona?
Yeah.
This is a really bad story.
Ramona went on her own cognizance.
She is a free
She is her
spirit.
own lady.
We wouldn't do it again, I'll tell you that.
No, that was a bad idea. I don't think Steve is a good traveler. It starts to worry me. Something's very wrong. Yeah, it's great. No, and there's tons of little like hole in the wall places in DC and little cafes and all that. So, anyways, great food in DC. All right, let's get to this is unbelievable.
This is the one you don't like?
Yeah, and here's the thing. And this is one of the best 40 Days for Life campaigns in the world. So they're going to give me flack, but there's got to be a little bit of know thyself. And frankly, it was my last trip there with you that I was just like, I can't do it. All right. So the city that I disagree with is St. Louis, okay? Now, the people of St. Louis are great. I have a nostalgic view of St. Louis because I spontaneously, when I was a sophomore in high school or junior or sophomore, I got to go see John Paul II in St. Louis.
Holy Father, thank you for coming to St. Louis.
Okay, we drove up. It was awesome. Just phenomenal experience. So I was like, I love St. Louis. I toured the seminary. We saw JP too. It was awesome. Saw the arch, went up in the arch. It was awesome. But then as I got older and I kept going back, I'm like, the suburbs are really nice. But St. Louis is rough. And it's a dump. And that's all I have to say about
Jill's going to edit this podcast and take all of this out.
Jill's from St. Louis. She's like, you don't know St. Louis, man. I'm like, yeah, I've been there like 12 times. And I'm just saying, I think I had it because I had like never gone anywhere as a kid. I had it like way up here. And I just got older and I'm like, Kansas City is like 50 times better than St. Louis.
To the west. The arch is awesome.
It's the gateway to getting murdered in the street at night.
It's got the best Italian neighborhood in America.
That's impossible. I mean, I haven't been, so I can't refute that. But Little Italy. It's better than Little Italy in New York.
It is. It's much bigger.
It's better than Little Italy in San Diego.
Haven't been there.
That's tough to beat. It's 72 degrees and sunny every day. But, okay, keep going.
It's an expansive. There's Italian restaurants. There's Italian delis. I was going to pick something up, and I bought the whole
this
store.
podcast is family vacation destination recommendations.
Yeah, take your kids to the Arch. They got a great zoo. Good.
And I've been to Pappy's Barbecue.
Yes.
It's good. I get it. The Arch is cool. The old cathedral and the basilica are, I think the basilica is one of the prettiest churches.
So you're coming around on St. Louis
Yeah,
here.
but here's the thing. And this is going to show you're going to be like, you are such a loser Catholic. Because like the best thing about St. Louis is the Catholicism, and it's really cool, and the history there, and it's pretty awesome. It was a big flex by JP too that he went to St. Louis. I mean, it's just a small town, but it was really awesome. And so I know that sounds bad because it's like, but Sean, isn't your Catholic faith the most important thing in your life? Yes, but the Catholic thing is awesome in St. Louis. That's kind of it. I got barbecue here. I would love to go to a Cardinals game. Mary Lisa's cousin played for the Cardinals for a long time, as you know. Of course, he had a condo. He'd never bought a house there. There's a reason for that. But anyways, yeah, it was just one of those things where you got to be careful. St. Louis is a dangerous city. It's like New Orleans isn't on this list because we don't suggest anybody get murdered or kidnapped on the podcast.
And it's a family-friendly place, and I wouldn't bring my kids to the French Quarter probably.
Oh, no. But that would be really, and we could go on, you don't know New Orleans, St. Louis Cathedral. You know, it's like, no, it's a freak show. They've ruined New Orleans completely.
But you've got the Arch, you've got the barbecue, you've got the Italian food. There's a place called Ted Drew's Custard, great for kids. You've got the Old Cathedral, you've got the Cathedral Basilica, you've got the free zoo, which is awesome, and
Big
you've got the Cardinals.
Problem.
You're classist.
Where is there not a homeless problem in any of these cities that we've mentioned so far?
No. There's homelessness, right, as just a problem in America, but then there's like a really bad homeless crisis in some of these places. And so, I mean, look at L.A., look at St. Louis, look at San Francisco. That's just different than like Houston or Atlanta. Okay. So we disagree on that. I think that I say this, St. Louis is worth going to and seeing. The family part.
No?
I don't know, man. You better be locked and loaded. Concealed carry time.
Stay strapped or get clapped.
Yeah. You're in St. Louis now. Oh, my gosh. I remember we had a board member years ago, great guy. And he was an orthopedic surgeon. And I said, where are you from? Because I just assumed he was from Texas. He goes, I'm from Memphis. And I was like, oh, Memphis is a cool town. He's like, yeah, if you like crime. He's like, I don't go back. Like, he left. And Memphis and St. Louis are kind of in the same category for me, where like scary streets, good barbecue, if that's a category. All right. You're looking at me like I'm.
Which one is he gonna pick now?
I like the whole. We'll come back on something because we just bashed your beloved St. Louis. You didn't even give an opinion. What do you think of St. Louis?
I haven't actually seen St. Louis other than I've been there for conferences, so I can't really say.
Great.
Have an opinion on that.
We were basically mugged on the streets of St. Louis together like 10 years ago.
My memory of that was in Atlanta. Is that possible?
No, that was St. Louis.
Right. Was it both?
It was both, but the Atlanta thing was much more minor.
Okay.
St. Louis was like.
Maybe it's a traumatic stress response. I don't even remember it.
And you got in the rental car. We were leaving after our trip there. I forget why I think we were doing some strategy thing or something. So you were like, St. Louis is really dangerous. I was like, yeah, I think I'm turning against it. And here you are 8 years later, like we didn't get mugged.
It's like giving birth. You forget about, some of the pains.
I know, but then you have like the joy of the child. Is that the Arch?
There's no joy. I was going to say there's no joy in what he mentioned.
And what Bud Light did was a very bad thing. And they're in St. Louis. They had that trans can.
Oh,
Bud Light was very, very bad. Okay. All right. Now, this is a great city. And Steve, this is like going to have a romantic tone in his voice talking about it. Charleston, South Carolina.
The greatest city in America.
I love it.
Wow.
It's great. It's on my list. I'm dying to take Mary Lisa. I've been a couple of times. I'm trying to think of what's wrong with Charleston.
Nothing.
You just want to reverse it.
It's the perfect place.
It's a great place. Great. Like, here's what I like as a Southerner. Like, my granny, God rest her soul, would make, like, the traditional Southern food of, like, chicken and dumplings and, like, fried chicken. And there's butter everywhere. And there's, like, we all the grandkids grew up. And we, when you're a kid, you think you like carrots. And then when you're an adult, you realize, I don't like carrots. I like butter. So in Charleston, fried fish, fried green tomatoes. In Charleston, they would have like nice restaurants that serve these items that I ate like at my granny's house. It was just like formal. It was like fried green tomatoes can cost $16.99. Those have to be amazing, but they like comes out in a gourmet thing, and I'm just I got a kick out of that. Like grits, shrimp and grits. You know,
my gosh.
it's all like nice.
They ask you what vegetable you would like, and Jell-O is an option.
What?
Charleston is a romantic town.
Yes,
For sure. Like a couple's getaway thing.
big time.
Tons of history. Absolutely beautiful.
The second biggest historic district in the world, only after Rome.
That is
No way.
very surprising to hear.
Wow. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I would say, too, very pleasant most of the year.
Weather-wise?
Weather-wise, I mean, I know that they, it can probably get cold there, but not that cold. And it can get hot, but like not that hot. I don't know if I would do Charleston in August or July.
Great beaches if you do, though.
Yeah, but you could. You easily could. But it is very, very, very pretty. Great walking town. I would say it's one of the places you could just fly into and survive with no car. You could either walk or Uber and be fine. Because some of these are going to require, well, you definitely want to rental a car in St. Louis so that you can run from the gangs.
But this is a good family vacation spot, too?
It's definitely a great couples place, but you could do family as well because beaches, the food is good. There's a lot of churches. It's called the Holy City.
Fort Sumter.
Fort Sumter is awesome.
Awesome. I went. It's awesome. Unbelievable.
We were at the gift
That's
shop.
the start of the Civil War, Heather. Okay, just...
I've never been to Charleston, so I can't
Robert
comment on
Robert E.
these.
Lee was the leader of the Confederates.
Really?
I'm mansplaining. Grant led the Union.
Who are the Confederates?
The Union
Sean?
won. The Union won.
I took Peter, is the first work trip I took a kid on, and I took Peter, and we had like some off time and went to Fort Sumter, and we're in the gift shop, and he's going to get like his replica Civil War hat, 7 years old. He's like, Dad, remind me, which ones were the good ones, the blue or the gray? And the guy at the gift shop is like, depends upon who you ask.
You northern boys got lucky once. That ain't going to happen again. Oh, yeah. That's endless. The great seafood, great barbecue. The Charleston has the great mix of like the Atlantic Ocean seafood and the southern spice. Yeah, it's good. Very good. It's amazing. I don't want to harp on it, but I'm going to. Like, this is why it's so dumb how the New Orleans government ruined their city. Because Charleston is 50 times better than New Orleans, but New Orleans could be 50 times better than Charleston.
Oh, really?
Yeah, New Orleans is a beautiful town if they would just clean it up and get rid of the voodoo and just it's just so dirty and so dangerous and so corrupt. It's very crazy. I didn't realize this. So it has a nickname, the Holy City?
Yeah, it's got just tons of churches, and if you're on the water, you can just kind of look at the skyline dotted with steeples.
All right, we gotta move on. Okay, Route 66 in the Grand Canyon. I did this as a kid. It's awesome.
Yeah, you can cover so much. There's Albuquerque. There's remember the old Eagles song, Take It Easy? Standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona. You can go visit the corner in Winslow, Arizona.
Cars, the movie.
Yeah, which was originally going to be named Route 66.
Yeah.
And I think there was some other movie that had that name, but
Route 66 is basically a character in the movie, but because it's just like the theme of everything. But it's really great. Quick story. I go to the Grand Canyon. I'm in the 6th grade. I go off kind of on my own. My family's like kind of over here. This old man comes up and starts talking to me. We talked for 20 minutes. He walked up to me and looked at me and said, "Big hole, ain't it?" We're talking. Whatever. My sister, brother, dad, they come over, and my sister said, "Let's have this old man take our picture." And my dad looked at him and said, "No, we want him in the picture." And we're like, okay, our dad's like being a funny guy, like dad joke. So this lady takes our photo, and my dad looks at him and says, "I thought you were dead." And he said, "Most people do." And so we walk off, and I turn around, and there's a huge crowd around this guy. And my dad was like, "Yeah, I don't know who that is, but that's Ernest Borgnine."
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who was back in the heyday, the Wild Bunch and the Poseidon Adventure. I mean, huge actor, iconic actor.
Yeah.
And so everybody had to explain that would be like meeting Tom Hanks or something today. And I was like, okay, I guess that's a big deal. But it was funny. So yeah, Grand Canyon. Great.
It's off Route 66 a little bit, but it's within striking distance.
Every American should see the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
It's
In
unbelievable. And the pictures are, it's just a joke. It really is. And you can hike down in it. We did that. You can ride donkeys down in it.
Ooh.
I brought my daughter last summer. She was 8 years old, and we were we were gonna arrive late in the afternoon, just check it out a little bit, and then spend the next day there. And she really wanted to see the sunset, and we went. And she took the most gorgeous photo of the sunset, and this is I don't know why I'm saying that, just a joyful memory.
Great memory. All right, we got two more. Chicago.
I'm not gonna get pushed back on this one.
Speaking of dangerous.
I know. No, I think I was so hard on St. Louis. I can't. It's so hypocritical. I get the Chicago thing. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Richard Kimball running around in the St. Patrick's Day Parade. I've been to Chicago. I will say Chicago is a very overrated city to everybody who doesn't live there.
Okay.
I can rattle off 4 other U.S. cities that are just way better, but the whole the people from Chicago who think that it's better than New York are insane.
Correct.
It's just crazy. So I love it historically, though, of how it helped build America. So I won't contest that. And
It's one of the better food cities in America.
it's a great food city, and I love the sausage culture
Yeah.
and all that.
The places where you can't pay cash for anything, but you better bring cash if you're going to go eat the sausage in Chicago.
Yeah,
Chicago.
It is. No, it's good. And they're proud of their city, as they should be. So it does have that kind of like Boston, New York thing going on.
If I can put Chicago on this list, you can.
You hate Chicago, and culturally, Wisconsin and Chicago have never gotten along. So it shows your humility.
My favorite thing that I ever saw was the Packers were playing the Bears one time, and this was maybe 15 years ago, 10 years ago. And somebody brought a sign to the game that said, "The Bears, the second worst thing to ever come out of Chicago." And then it had a photo of Obama with an X over it.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah. I think he hurt Chicago, too, because now culturally Chicago's like, a bunch of corrupt Democrats or whatever. But, that's not fair. You can't judge a city based on that. It is dangerous. There's no doubt. But I think it's basically... Isn't it South Chicago?
I was going to say, you go in certain places at certain times of day.
Yeah.
You're good.
The dangerous parts are the parts, from St. Louis, I would agree, you can go to the parts you want to go to in St. Louis, and it might be a little sketch.
Right. Downtown St. Louis did not feel safe.
Chicago, it's Chicago, so it's anybody's guess. But if you're down in the Magnificent Mile, Michigan Avenue, where the shopping is, and the Hancock Center, and whatever they call the Sears Tower these days, or Wrigley Field, I don't think you're likely to run into trouble.
It's back to being the Sears Tower.
Is it? Mm-hmm. Oh.
Just keeping the name.
America is healing.
Out of that. Yeah, no, it's a positive story. Okay, the last one on our list, people are probably wondering. Colorado.
Yes.
The whole state. I love
Yes.
Colorado.
Me
It's
too.
great. I know that they legalize weed and that's causing a big problem, but it's still a really great state.
I went there for the first time, not on a work trip, for vacation in 2021. Drove from Austin to, I think we went to Denver, drove through Colorado Springs. You have to have this mentioned on here. Garden of the Gods, yes. That's gorgeous in Colorado Springs. We hiked in that area.
We encountered a rattlesnake at the Garden of the Gods.
Oh,
This is no
goodness.
big deal for you Texans, but for us, that's pretty serious.
What? Oh, yeah, because we had that discussion. He's like, what? That's something you guys have never seen that before. You, regularly see that? Depending on where you are in Texas, yeah.
There's rattlesnakes are scary, though.
Yeah.
No, Colorado, beautiful. HQ, a focus on the family, is there. That's worth seeing, just as an American institution. It's pretty awesome. Dr. Dobson built that from his kitchen table, and it's really cool. They do tours. I've been there to be on Jim Daly's radio program, and they did a full tour. It was super, super cool. Have a whole history of it. The Catholic seminary in Denver is worth visiting, St. John Marie Vianney Seminary, beautiful, super old, gorgeous, awesome.
We've got some Dominican sisters there too.
Yes. Denver.
Sisters of Life.
I like Denver. It's probably getting on the list of like, it used to be awesome and now it's just so crowded and the traffic is so bad because they're trying to catch up with their growth. But man, it's a cool city. It's a really, really cool city. Great sports stadiums. Didn't you go to a Rockies game? You said the stadium was awesome.
It was good.
And then Mile High is new. They built a new one for the Broncos, right?
It's like, Invesco or some.
But it's still,
thing.
it's Bank of America Mile High Stadium or whatever.
Yeah, it's fun and a place that I think it's one of the coolest places in America and nobody I know talks about it. If you drive a couple hours, there's a place called Royal Gorge and it's like a mini Grand Canyon, and it's like the world's highest suspension bridge over this canyon, and you can walk it, you can take a cable car parallel to it. It's kind of terrifying, actually. Like, my kids are all like freaking out, and they're like, "You scared?" No, I'm not scared. Yeah, I was scared. I'm not gonna lie, but it's really awesome. It's gorgeous.
That's cool.
Royal Gorge, Rocky Mountain National Park, Estes Park, awesome.
Estes Park is gorgeous. We went camping at one of the Jellystone parks there. And it was very strange to be in the middle of summer and freezing in the middle of the night because we were up in the mountains. And it was just so weird, like, this is July. Why am I so cold right now?
Yeah.
Being from Houston.
No. And weather-wise, it's great. Colorado Springs is definitely great.
And excellent campaigns there. We've got some awesome Colorado campaigns.
Yeah, we did a video last year in Colorado Springs. Denver's kind of like Catholic Disney World, right? Isn't Focus there and the Augustine Institute? Isn't all that in Denver?
Augustine Institute.
They're still, it's been 30 plus years, but the visit of John Paul II for World Youth Day in 1993 still has a profound impact on that area.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great.
It is. They've just always had awesome bishops too. It's just a great diocese. They have tons of priests, and they're the ones that originally. I don't think it's on anymore. But when we were starting this podcast, we started listening to the Stuff Catholics Should Know podcast with the two young priests.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which we realized our podcast is actually really tame.
Yes,
if you listen to those guys,
because
we're not drinking bourbon that was sent to us by some group of monks in Croatia. They always had random.
But
stuff.
If you send anything,
that's right. If we won't,
we won't deny it.
That's right. We will accept it with graciousness. Thank you. That's it.
What did I miss? I put this list together. What do you guys think I should have included that I didn't?
Kansas City.
Gosh. There's so many.
The problem is we just did a vacation list and nothing in the state of Florida is on it. But I think that's just common sense. People go to Orlando or they go, whatever. But that kind of speaks for itself. But this was random, doable. And I
spaced them out, so hopefully there's probably at least one or two that's drivable for everybody in the U.S. listening audience.
What I would say, it would be on the expensive part, and I haven't done it, but I've been there a bunch, and y'all have too, is San Diego. San Diego is a very conservative city for California. It's absolutely beautiful. The Navy is there. It's awesome. You can go. You two characters are going to Miramar. That's where Top Gun is. It's the start of Top Gun.
Awesome.
I got to do something. I can't believe it. I got to give you your dream shot. All right, we'll end with that. So send us any of your cities. I love you, St. Louis. Don't write in. I love you, Bryan Westbrook. I love everybody in St. Louis. Don't write in any hate. You know, y'all live in the suburbs.
But if you do, podcast at 40daysforlife.com.
Podcast at 40daysforlife.com. Podcast at 40daysforlife.com. Please rate, review, and share this podcast, and let us know where you're going on vacation this summer. We want to know. Talk to you later. God bless you.